staff and other friends and neighbors who are with us. Let's call the meeting to order. Mr. Clerk, I guess we should take general public comment first. Do we have any? Looks like we've got no public comment. Okay, we'll close the public comment.
We have one general public comment.
Okay, well, come on down. We don't want to leave you out.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, over the last 50-plus years, the Americans have graciously donated and heavily funded all Latino communities, our jungle cesspools. The money was used to reinvigorate and revitalize these disastrous, dilapidated, filthy, nasty, unsafe communities and business areas for major improvements, but mostly the money was used to combat crimes, gangs, and drug epidemic. The business communities included toxic urban blight such as feces, urine, vomit, old rotted food and packages, soiled, smelly, broken furniture, and other broken, vandalized home furnitures and broken down, burned vehicles. These Chango Latino wetbacks and gangbangers live like pigs who steal and steal from their neighbors and neighborhood businesses as well. These Latinos are nosy, jealous, filthy pigs who will even burn down their neighbors' homes and next-door businesses, like we see in East LA, Lincoln Heights, and Pico Union area. Stop donating and subsidizing these gangbangers and wetbacks at our expense and deport all DACA recipients.
Thank you for your comments. Why don't you remain there for the multiple agenda? Why don't you stay, ma'am? Why don't you stay? You signed up for multiple items as well?
Okay, and how much?
And we'll give you another minute.
One moment, please. 1 minute. Thank you very much. I'd like to go ahead and do number 9. Put out flyers at all wetbacks and gangbangers unlawfully employed at City Hall, and thank the gangbanging Chango pussy ex-mayor Antonio Villaraigosa, they will fire. Finally, retiring. And what he needs to do first and foremost is hire our United States military veterans, whether they are active or inactive, uniformed or ununiformed, and start holding up the standards. We need professionalism with presentation, highly skilled, generous, excellent customer service, honest, hard workers with ethics, integrity, commitment, due diligence, focus, responsiveness, and highly motivated. And next, I'd like to do number 7. I'm against any construction or expansion of the JW Marriott Hotel. Do not amend their contracts, but deny all contract agreements with JW Marriott. I have stated several of them, and they unlawfully hire all racist, hate-mongering, Chango, Latino wetbacks and gangbangers who steal, and rummage through your things and invade your privacy. They are nosy, and most can't even speak English, and they are inept, incompetent jackasses. They fill out positions with these wetbacks, such as housekeeping, maids, maintenance, security, front desk, cooking, phone operators, room service operators, etc. They let people into your rooms and steal. I do not recommend JW Marriott because they do not hold up to the business ethics standards, and they have no customer services. And if you want to file a complaint, they will simply escort you out of the hotels. Again, JW Marriott hotels are predatory assholes who don't and won't hire military veterans and edify America. And number 8, ladies and gentlemen, yes, we need tourism urgently because all businesses are leaving California thanks to these professional political pandering pussies, Governor Jerry Brown, Eric Garcetti, and City Attorney Michael Feuer et al., who are giving George Soros, the Hungarian Jew, daily blowjobs and getting kickbacks under the table.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your comments. Do we have any other multiple?
No, Mr. Chair. Those are all the comments for all the. We do have one more comment on item number 10, but that's all the comments we have for all the items in the regular meeting.
Okay, good. We're going to continue. Thank you for the input. We're going to continue item 8. And members, without objection, we're going to move items 1 through 6 on consent. 1 through 6 on consent. Thank you, Mr. Busciano. Mr. Clerk, what's before us at this time?
We have item number 7. Would you like me to read that to the record?
Yes, please.
Item number 7 is a motion for council members Price and Weezer relative to various actions related to the Los Angeles Convention Center expansion project.
Okay, let's get staff up just for an overview. This motion requests the city to do 3 things. Look at AEG's proposal to enter into a P3 to renovate and modernize the convention center, something we've all been talking about for a long time. The motion also requests the city to look at any potential economic benefit or any economic development incentives that may result from an 850-key hotel on the convention center site, another activity we're excited about. And it also requests that the management contract between AEG and the city be extended for 1 year with 2 one-year extensions. That is to manage the convention center. Again, an activity that's been very successful. So,
John Wiggum with the
John,
Chief
the floor is
Legislative
yours.
Analyst, and Don Liu, the General Manager of the Convention Tourism Department. For the last 8 to 10 years or so, the Council and the Mayor have been working on this strategy for the Convention Center to make it one of the top destinations for events in the nation and the world. And it's this triangle, so to speak, this three-legged stool approach to solving. One is to get at least 8,000 hotel rooms within walking distance of the convention center.
Currently,
And
what's our number?
well, actually, I think we're at about 5,000 units so far, and the projects that have been approved, you recently approved the Lightstone project. There are a couple additional projects that are
in the pipeline.
in the pipeline. Adding in this JW expansion will take us to 7,750. So really one of the most successful economic development strategies and policies that the council's implemented, I would say, to reach that goal as quickly as you have. The second part of that triangle is management of the convention center, and I think it was 5 years ago that AEG was hired to manage the convention center. It has been highly successful, and
What
has...
does that mean, they've been successful?
I'll have Don respond to that one.
Well, I think for the first time, you've seen net profits from the operation. So for the last 3 consecutive years, we've seen net profits, and we're expecting probably in the range of a $10.3 million profit for last fiscal year.
And that profit has actually been able to help support improvements to the convention center, the physical facility, as well as satisfaction of the clients. The third part of the stool has been expansion of the convention center, and that has been the hardest nut to crack. We've tried a number of ways over the last couple of years, and we now have in this proposal from AEG a solution that will that hopefully will create more than 1 million square feet of exhibit space, additional meeting room space, and multi-purpose space that could be used for meetings, for banquets, for all sorts of different events. And so with this one motion, you are bringing together all 3 elements of that proposal. If we get to a solution here, we will have significantly moved forward the convention center as a premier destination in the world for conventions and other major events. And so by approving this motion, you will instruct your city departments to conduct all of the analyses in negotiations with AEG. We would bring back an initial recommendation to you with whether we should move forward with this project, and at that point we would then, if the recommendation is yes, then we would move forward with the final negotiations and get going.
Okay. Dome, tell us, the proposal is to increase the convention center by 350,000 square feet, creating a 50,000 square foot ballroom for premier events, and then 850 hotel on site. What do those kinds of additions do for attracting the kinds of conventions that we've not been able to get over the past several years?
Yeah, thank you. Councilman, the biggest challenge that we face today in attracting large conventions, large medical shows, large technology shows, is the amount of contiguous space. So right now we have a hall roughly of 350,000 square feet, and another hall of about 250,000 square feet. And so anyone larger than that has to be separated in two locations. By adding this new space in between the two existing spaces, it'll allow us to have over 800,000 square feet of contiguous space.
That would rank us number 10, number 12 in the country at that point, number 5, number 2, or
not sure exactly the ranking, but for contiguous space, it will be the largest on the West Coast. So we'll exceed Anaheim and San Diego and San Francisco for contiguous space. But this allows us to get large shows that we haven't been able to get before. In fact, we met recently with the American Association of Cancer Research, who's ready to sign a contract for three years, maybe 4 years, the minute we tell them that we can have a larger space available for them. And so they've been out a couple of times, and there are many, many shows like that we've just not been able to attract. So having this large contiguous space will change the nature of the citywide conventions that we can get.
If I remember the data correctly, this would allow us to attract 96% of the conventions that are out there.
That's right.
And right now we're able to attract, 60 or 70% of the conventions that are out there. So we're basically would be able to attract everything except the largest conventions, and so it would be a significant improvement.
And I know we haven't dotted the I's, crossed the T's yet, but we're talking about a completion of a project by when? What's the time frame we're optimistically looking at?
We're optimistically looking at completing this by the end of 2021, which would allow us to be completely done in time for the Super Bowl on February 6, 2022. That's not the only event we're doing this for, but we think it's good to have a goal, and we think it's important to have a fire underneath all of us.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Weezer, you were the co-author on this motion. Do you have any comments?
I just want to thank everyone involved and look forward to seeing the additional, the conclusions of this analysis. It's long overdue, and we know how important it is to not only get a convention that could attract more conventions for the economic development and continuation of the city, but also as we look at what we're building in downtown, it is in the midst of having a lot more people live there, work there, and in addition to the tourism that this may attract, it's really going to be a center point once again. And so it's very important that we get a convention that fits the new downtown Los Angeles that we're preparing for.
Good, thank you. Mr. Busciano?
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to thank your leadership and that of Mr. Weezer as well, and those here in front of us, as well as our private partners, AEG. We just celebrated the 10-year anniversary of LA Live, and it reminded me in 1997, as a young police officer on probation, I was assigned there for that special detail of the groundbreaking ceremony of what was then Staples Center, witnessing Shaquille O'Neal in a hard hat, and then even before the Staples Center, there was a lot of issues surrounding, quality of life issues surrounding that development. And look at it today, smart development. In fact, it has motivated and encouraged me, as it should with other municipal leaders around the country, to promote economic development as it relates to retail, dining, entertainment, job growth. And this convention centers, LA Live, Staples Center has been the driving force of moving the economy forward in the downtown LA region. And I took a little advice and experience of those here before me to have that same mindset along the waterfront in the San Pedro Wilmington communities. So, but we often hear we have to be more competitive, and we are moving forward on the hotel rooms, but we're still need to do better with our convention bookings, and this will drive that effort by expansion of the convention center. Mr. Liu, you mentioned, we have to move on this quickly. The end of 2021 is in preparation for the Super Bowl. Anything that we can be concerned of moving or getting in the way, stumbling blocks? Are we using the farmer's field EIR?
That's one of the issues that's under consideration. We'll be evaluated. We'll be able to
Okay.
report back on that.
I'd like to see something come. You want to add?
Well, I was going to say, thank you for the question, but in order to get this project completed by the end of 2021, it's about a 24, 27-month construction schedule, which means we need to start construction middle of next year or the end of next year in order to get this done in time. So backing up from that, in order to do that, yes, we need to do our best to utilize the existing EIR, but we also have about 12 to 15 months of design period, which our partners are generously starting with that at risk using their own funds. But on our side, we're really going to need to do two things: complete this exclusive negotiating agreement ASAP that John mentioned, and then to have the P3 documentation, if that's the direction we go in, completed by the end of the year. So
I understand the importance of leading with a sense of urgency. Can we have something that we can vote on, Mr. Chairman, by the time we return from our summer recess?
I hope so.
First
I don't
week of
know
August.
what the timing is
What's the
on
timeline,
our
John?
report back, but we
Yeah,
certainly want
the-
to provide some direction from this committee to move
Yeah.
forward, yes.
Yeah. So
I still want.
Once
I mean,
this
there's a
motion is-
time-sensitive issue. I don't want to sit on this as you know. This is how I roll. Is let's move on it. Let's move. But we need to vote on something, and hoping to see that come before us on returning from our summer recess.
Yeah, so the way this works is you approve the motion now. That'll put your departments to work, your city staff to work.
Right.
There are two documents that would come forward for consideration. One is an ENA on the expansion of the convention center side, and the other would be an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, on the hotel expansion side. And as you know from the previous hotel expansion documents, when we bring that forward, we bring there has been a request for hotel incentive participation in this project, so we need to process that data. And so it's going to take a little bit of time. It may be that we can get that done in 6 weeks. That would be great. One of the recommendations in the motion will allow us to go back to the contractor who had done previous work on this, and they are ready to go. They will be able to jump in and process much more quickly than if we had to go to a bid. And right, so we found ways to expedite that. But the question is, can that analysis be done in 6 weeks, or will it take 8 weeks? Or so it's just something that everybody is teed up to do it as quickly as possible.
I appreciate that.
you have our commitment that we will do everything we can to make sure that we have something for you to vote on when you return from summer recess.
Keep in mind, this is a public-private partnership. As much as we value our private partners, we don't want the private partners to wait on the public partners, because I know they're anxious to get started.
Exactly.
So I see ourselves as equal partners here moving
Well, I
forward.
can assure you that Councilman Price has been telling us how important this is to him, and we've gotten the message from him. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
I think we all agree time is of the essence. Mr. Weezer.
Thank you. And how many other TOT analysis are you doing for hotels?
There are currently 4 that the council has instructed us to work on.
And they're in various stages, or they're just recent ones?
Recent.
Recent.
Yeah. So this will be the 5th moving forward. Yeah.
Okay, members, any other comments?
Move
If
the
not,
item.
let's, I move that we adopt the recommendation and move forward to the next phase of making something great happen.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate the role that AEG has played as a partner. We look forward to that continued partnership. So, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Next item.
That brings us to item number 9. Item number 9 is the motion for council members Buscaino and Price relative to updating the Transitional Job Opportunities Program in the First Source hiring ordinance.
Okay, can we get a staff report or an update or a status or something?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, let's
You want staff first? Okay.
let the councilman few opening remarks.
okay.
This is one of his babies.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate your partnership in supporting this motion that's before us here. And I want to thank Hannah and also Laura Hill and my staff in working with our ConAd. And something that has been very important to me and my team is making sure that everyone has an opportunity and getting a fair shot of getting a job. Steady employment has been shown to be the driving factor in preventing someone from falling into homelessness or returning from jail. I had lunch downstairs today at the Homeboy Cafe, and they reminded me that nothing stops a bullet more than a job. And my days at the LAPD, it was in the arrests that I made continued in and out of jail, and one common goal that I had was ensuring that they don't end up in jail by providing them with a job. But before us today, and Mr. Chairman, you led an effort in banning the box in 2016 to remove the question of criminal records from employment applications. That has been very helpful. But the item before us today is another opportunity to make it easier for transitional employees to get a job in the city. But in order to incentivize contractors to do business with the city to hire transitional workers, we're looking into reforming and strengthening the city's existing transitional job opportunities program. So we're drawing up from other municipalities. We've learned a lot from what the county has done, hoping we can mirror what the county has done and use the county and the state for inspiration moving forward. The county has an amazing social enterprise program that I think we should mirror. Our office has been in conversations with several departments and key stakeholders involved. We're also fortunate to be joined today by one of our partners in this project, the Bureau of Contract Administration, and whose Hannah here is going to speak on this, Mr. Chair. So with that, I'll just turn it over to her.
Sure. Hannah Choi with the Bureau of Contract Administration. I'm the Assistant Director at the Bureau. So back in 2005, the TJOP Transitional Job Opportunities Program was adopted. It was meant to level the playing field for those who are engaged in training and providing job opportunities to our transitional population. So it gave a 10% preference for projects that were valued at less than $100,000. Since the inception, I believe there were 2 nonprofits who were certified, and our office certified them. But honestly, we have no record since then of any awards made from this program. So looking at this ordinance is really long overdue. Mm-hmm. And the fact that we now have the Chief Procurement Officer on board, he is helping us looking at all of the ordinances and taking a better picture of what's going on as far as contracts and seeing how we can better implement these programs that are really important to the city.
Okay, members?
I know there's been some issues with kind of leveraging this program, and one of the issues has been the threshold
Right.
of $100,000 projects. And today, in the city,
Right.
rare that you're going to find a project less than $100,000. How are we addressing that?
It's true. I think definitely one of the reasons probably it's never used is there aren't many projects in the city that are valued at $100,000. And so we need to take a look at that. And due to, honestly, coming from Bureau of Contract Administration, due to lack of resources, we really didn't have the time to outreach to the TJOPs or in-reach to our departments to let them know this program exists. Mm-hmm. So on all fronts, I think we've been very lacking in getting this program. But if there are no projects to award to the TJOPs, then it's so all around the way this, I think, ordinance was structured. I mean, 10 years ago, maybe, but now we really need to revisit it and modify it. Yeah.
So best case scenario, if we're seeing the city, the TJOP, the first source hiring ordinance, we're operating at its optimum, what would that mean for our transitional workers and the city in general?
Yeah, I think my dream would be this amazing relationship within the city family where the departments are actively looking at their possible contracts and identifying certain projects that would be perfect for our TJOPs to work on. And so maybe carving out those projects and then partnering with our TJOPs and Reddit and those organizations out there that are doing such important work that we as government should be helping and assisting, partnering with them, and then somehow bringing all the pieces together and actually giving work to these TJOPs, getting our homeless reentry population engaged in our economy. I mean, that would be the dream for our Bureau.
And you talk about the homeless population, those who are coming out of prison and jail, the most vulnerable. We have to do all we can to get them geared up for these types of opportunities. So,
and if done right, this ordinance, whether it's the social enterprises, TJOP, will help to meet that end. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you so much, Hannah, for your presentation, Mr. Chairman, for your leadership on this and partnership, and to the BCA, EWDD, the CLAITA, our colleagues on the council and the mayor's office, to really tweaking this and maximizing the use of our TJOP program and for strengthening the first source hiring ordinance. Really appreciate the effort.
Thank you, Councilman, for those questions and for your support of this. I agree. This is an excellent opportunity for us to review, sort of reevaluate, and kind of rejigger the program so they can be effective. And as you said, we have to spread the word not only on the outside, but on the inside, making sure that our departments and bureaus are really taking advantage of it in ways that we have not. So unless there's further comment, members, let's approve this motion. Look forward to a report back as we move forward to expand opportunities for everybody in our city. So thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Hannah.
Next item, Mr. Clerk.
That brings us to item number 10. It's a motion from Councilmembers Price and Cedillo relative to amending the Los Angeles Administrative Code relating to the non-airport living wage rates.
Okay, members, I think we've got two comments. Okay, Luis Fuentes and Jose Hernandez. You gentlemen, please come up. You'll have a minute to speak your mind.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hello, my name is Jose Hernandez. I am a worker at the LAX. I am here to speak in concern of the motion to repeal health and welfare benefit from Los Angeles City Living Wage Ordinance. I am a proud member of the SEIU USWW. For years, I have struggled alongside with my brother and sister for better working conditions for all workers. The current motion of the table states that the health care provision is no longer needed. We disagree with this very premise. The fact is that the workers now more than ever need a guarantee their employers will provide quality health care and living wages. We have seen corporations receive tremendous kickbacks from the federal government, and the city of LA should be at the forefront demanding they pay workers a living wage with health care. We have concern with unilateral impact this would have on workers who are already receiving this benefit. Potential loophole for contractors to exploit workers or remove benefits. Collateral impact on other workers who are currently receiving health care demanded by similar ordinance.
Okay.
The contracted janitor and security officer who will be impacted.
Okay, would you please wrap up your comments, sir, please?
Excuse me.
You can just
Continue.
end your comments.
Yeah,
Yes.
we urge the council to move forward the recommendation that this committee made last year, preserving the healthcare provision of LA City Living Well Ordinance and protecting the living wage for all workers. Our support for this motion will be contingent on modification of current motion.
Thank you.
And so I won't take too much time. And first and foremost, I thank the council for taking.
Can you identify
this.
yourself, sir, please?
Luis Fuentes, senior organizer at CIU United Service Workers West. I'm also a proud son of a janitor since 1984. He's cleaned the building down the street from here. And, you know, so we're here, as Brother Jose has mentioned, to express concern over the current motion as written. You know, we are, you know, in a time and place where we have the ability to hold and necessity to hold corporations accountable. We understand that there's a need to fix the current living wage ordinance, and we're willing to work with the committee to do so. We first and foremost thank you all for all the great support and that you all have given the workers of Los Angeles. I think there's some work to be done, and we're willing to work with you all moving forward to make sure that this gets done in the correct way. And thank you all very much.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate the input and the collaboration we've had as we've moved this policy forward. Before staff comes out, let me just sort of set the scene. Effective July 1, 2018, the city's living wage will be $11.82 an hour plus a $1.25 healthcare subsidy, equating to $13.05 an hour. The city's minimum wage will be $13.25 an hour. So if we do nothing to fix this, then businesses who have contracts with the city will be able to pay their workers less than businesses located in the city. And this is not a good policy for the city to have. I understand why many of you have some concerns, several of which have been expressed here this morning. But I want to assure you that my office is going to meet over the next few weeks to make sure that we can address these and other concerns. But to meet the July 1 deadline, I'm going to recommend that we move forward with the motion as it is presented today. I don't know if we have a report from staff.
Councilman, I think you summarized it very well. The part of the living wage ordinance this affects is the non-airport component of the living wage. The airport component was dealt with by council last year, and that I believe comprehensively dealt with a number of issues that resulted as the conflicts that arose with the minimum wage. So this is only about the non-airport component of the living wage, and as you indicated, the living wage effective July 1st with the health benefit will be lower than the minimum wage on July 1st. And so the effort of this motion is to align the minimum wage and the living wage at a rate that's actually consistent, will increase the pay for those contractor employees who would be fall under the non-airport living wage component, and ensure that it aligns with the minimum wage going into the future. So this will also provide some consistency and improve the efficiency of the BCA and their ability to implement the ordinance and the law.
Right. Well, again, I think the important thing to keep in mind is that we are continuing to have discussions with all the parties so that concerns can be addressed, and as we try to align this in a way that makes sense. Members, any comments at this point? Okay, then we will adopt the motion as recommended, and we appreciate the report. Mr. Clerk, is there anything else on this agenda?
No, we do have a special agenda with 4 items.
Okay, let's adjourn then the regular agenda, and we move to the special agenda. Would you please read the roll?
We have Councilmember Curran Price, Councilmember Joe Buscano, Councilmember Jose Huizar here. We do not have any comments on any of the items.
Okay, there are no comment cards, no comments on any of these items. We will move forward then with the items 1 through 4 on consent, unless there's an objection. Seeing no objection, that will be the order. Any other business, Mr. Clerk, at this time?
No, Mr. Chair.
All right, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
All right.